this tutorial, I will show you how to use the write and optimize steps of implementing topics, prompts, and keywords. So we have already researched what keywords and topics we want to target, and then we have already generated a draft. Next thing to do is to actually implement these and make sure that are implemented well throughout the article. Right? Once you are done with these and generate a draft, the scoring system would have come online. And you can see we're scoring pretty badly for both SEO as well as AI optimization. You see the details here. For SEO, we're simply using a occurrence, like keyword occurrence metric for the time being. In the future, we may update it to something else. This is definitely not 100% what you need to rank high in SEO, but like you can't. This is a necessary step, right? And then for the AI optimization, we mostly use vectorization map to see how well your existing content maps to these prompts that you selected in the earlier step. Okay, so the implement topic UI looks like this. It will have the topics that you extrapolated earlier. And you can either manually assign the importance of these or use the suggest priorities function, which will label the as either already done well, like this one is done well, and then there are three like pretty well, not a whole lot to improve, but if you really want to push it to the limit, you could type of topics, and there are three that that's not done very well. This step is meant to be done manually, but it can give you implementation suggestions. So it's suggesting you to insert the topic guarantee plus me yield somewhere. Okay? It's saying expand on the plus me yield section by detailing how guaranteed yield reduces risk, and I think that's implied, but it's up to you, right, to decide whether to take that suggestion or not. Take it with a grain of salt. The thing with AI is you ask it for suggestions, it will give you suggestions. Now, whether you're at a happy place that you need improvement or not, that's up to the human to decide. Right? Anyway, these three are suggested, and then you can ask for suggestions for each one, and they implement that manually. By manually, I mean most likely you're just gonna use the AI edit part. Say, hey, what I usually do is see how far I can get before I really kind of buckle down and do it myself. So I'll copy this whole instructions and I'll click this section and say to the AI, just do this for me, and see what comes out. Right? If I'm happy with the result, then I will just adopt it. If I'm not happy with the result, I can just implement it manually. You can see what the original was like and the new one. Say accept changes. That's obviously a little too much. So before you use the AI edit, I would highly advise that you duplicate the section before you do it. Otherwise, you might get lost, and reverting it will have to be a bit difficult, right? So definitely duplicate your section before you do it. So that's for topics. With keywords, prompts is very similar to topics. You can get suggestions for where to implement it. But if you think of it, prompt is really just a topic to cover, right? With prompts, a lot of times what happens is there is a section on the page that already covers it, right? And I would just go to that section and ask AI to say, hey, reword this section so that it fits this prompt better. Lastly, in the keyword, right, when you use the suggestion, it will. This is probably the most useful function of them all because it will implement the changes for you. Right? So you can see RNA contamination and plasmid prep. You can check where it is currently mentioned in this, right here, through the QC test, and the system will suggest, hey, replace this sentence or this phrase with that phrase, which would contain the targeted keyword. You can look at the suggestion and be like, okay, yeah, I think that makes sense. Then you can apply the change or reverse it, toggle back and forth and see where it is. And then you can look at the next one, like take me there. Okay, it's asking to replace this with that. Let's see. Yeah, looks reasonable. Now, implement this one by one is what I would suggest. Once you're very comfortable with the process, you could use this implement all button, which is essentially imagine if you're Salt Bay, but you're instead of doing salt, you're doing keywords, right? Like just Salt Bay and the keywords into the article. Be careful, sometimes it will result in like really weird phrase. Do this for like the less risky pages, maybe if you really just want to crank out a bunch of content and you don't really care. Like if you're writing a how-to guide or some kind of informational pages. For your transactional pages, just use this sparingly. Better to kind of look at each change and then kind of manually do it one by one. Just use it with caution is what I would suggest. Okay, implement all. I think inevitably once you get accustomed to using CJGO, I've seen a lot of users just like it's hard to always pay attention and like do things the way it should be. So when you find yourself in the habit of like I'm just gonna implement all for me, just know that you're not alone. Okay. Save the article. So that is how you can improve your SEO score by implementing the keywords. Let's actually try to improve the AI score as well by going to implement prompts and just do one. Okay, which question should I ask plasma manufacturer? What factors should I consider? Recommend me some company. Let's do this one. Suggest me some implementation. All right, it's asking me to create a new section for what factors should I consider when selecting. Let me see if I already talked about that. Because the system will, okay, actually it didn't. So what makes us different? Maybe simple ordering process, comprehensive quality control options. There is not a selection criteria. You can always decide to not target it and remove it from the list, and that will remove it from the evaluation list and therefore boost your score. But that's okay. So let's just create a new section then. Duplicate, right, and then say rewrite this section using the same layout to address this question. Oh, okay, there it is. Okay, the result came back. Factors to consider for, okay, let's save it. So now it became this section, factors to consider for plasmid purification services. All right, and if I wanted to change the format, change to a different template, let's see, maybe to this format. All right, looks reasonable. Let's, oh crap, make it, make the cards layout in one row. Yeah, this is, I guess this is realistic demo then. We're running to issues. Well, this beats like trying to edit it like this. I hope. All right. It didn't change anything. Well, you know what? Let's evaluate. Let's evaluate this again. So save the article. Go back to the. Just click reevaluate. Oh, so this topic is properly covered. And let's see. Oh, both kill two birds. I should ask a plasmid manufacturer before making a purchase. Okay. So that is how you can use these three tools to improve the article after the initial generation.